Hey there, everyone. Thank you for being back with us. This is Voices of Courage. I'm your host, Brandy J. Today, I have with me again an awesome guest from Council of Christ, and today we have Sister Alexis Sade. How you doing, Alexis?
Hi, peace, peace.
Thank you for joining me. I'm very appreciative that you honored to give us the honor. this
Yes,
is
no
this has been
problem.
pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, Sister Alexis, so you are a part of something that many people couldn't even fathom. They really can't. They just don't believe it. And the Council of Christ, this is basically something you're a part of, and the Messiah, the living, breathing, walking Messiah, is on earth, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, people, once again, the Messiah walks the earth. So Alexis, what before you came to into truth, like real understanding and truth, what was it like for you? Did you grow up heavily indoctrinated with religion, or did you have any type of beliefs? For us, for like,
I grew up in the beginning of my childhood in church, as a Christian at a Baptist church. And as I got older and in high school, my mom, because I mainly just grew up with my mom, we went to try out at AME, which is African Methodist Episcopal. Then I went to more of a non denominational. And then after that, when I went to college, I decided to just, discover things on my own because me and my mom came across information that, Christ would be a Jew. So we started studying the Messianic Jewish traditions. So we tried to keep what was, in scripture labeled the high holy days. Passover, Hanukkah is one of them that's celebrated within a community, and Feast of Tabernacles, different things like that. And I end up finding a one of the RAs in college dorm. She was Jewish, so I celebrated something with her. And then I went off to try the Seventh Day Adventist church. Um, then, with all the threats of well, before I went to Seven Day Adventist, I tried a little bit non-denominational, but I left because a lot of them were just asking for money. um Went to the Seventh Day Adventist, and you have members in there scared to go to church on Sunday. They're like, if you go to church on Sunday, you're going to hell. And I was like, you know what, that's not right. So I went to a more open Baptist church, um Faith Baptist, and it was more so like what I was used to growing up. And I also started to get involved with the Hebrew Israelites. I never fully identified as a Hebrew Israelite, but I went to a Bible study with them, a digging deeper Bible study every Saturday with a closed group. And I came across Yaju on TikTok. And that's when everything that I knew changed. And as soon as I came across this information, I just erased myself from everything. The conspiracy theories, the organized religion, all of it.
wow, that's all. You have some very similar. I think we all do have some very similar things.
Oh,
Like
wait,
growing up,
Brandon,
huh?
I forgot to mention something else.
Oh, go ahead.
Um, Within my small circle of girlfriends, I decided to create a ladies group called Women Who Study, and basically we would meet up like sometimes twice a week. One doing a Bible study, and then we had empowerment brunches and things like that. But I started to become somewhat of a minister myself. I never taught anything. I just would facilitate the Bible study and the encouragement of what we took from scriptures. So that was one other thing I did mention.
Okay, cool. So you have that. Like I noticed with all of us, we kind of like we're having a journey. You know how some people like how they get into that church and they just stay stuck. They don't want to believe
Right.
anything else or try or think that it's okay to question the things that you're being told or seek. You know. So yeah, and I did the whole Seventh-day Adventist thing, and that's crazy. Like I didn't know people. I can understand that why you said people were scared because I was under the impression like the Sabbath is on Saturday, and so why would you even be in church on Sunday? The Roman Catholic Church they said they, you know what I mean? You know, so I
Right.
would trip out on people that went to church on Sunday, and I used to be a Sunday goer when I was going to church, but years before that, and it's crazy, right? How all that was just so much confusion and lies, and people just not knowing what they're talking about.
Right. They believe that Sunday is the mark of the beast.
Right. Man,
Right.
oh man. Is this what you mean by vain imagination, Alexis?
Right. Vain imaginations sounds just like vain imagination.
This trips me out. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so you really were like seeking. I even tried the Hebrew Israelites for like a second. I did studying with them, and some wasn't adding up either. Like things just weren't adding up when I saw there was some type of hate or something that just didn't sound like love or just was off, right?
Right.
And you heard Yaju's voice through all that, and you're like, that ain't it, that ain't it, that ain't it, that ain't it. When was that moment when you realized that this was it? When you was this his voice in general, or was it that understanding and all of it together?
Honestly, it was a culmination of hearing his voice and also seeing his face. So it's just like something in me just knew that it was him, and it spooked me, but it also made me like so relieved and happy all at once. I immediately reached out to him and I was like, "Hey, what do I do next?" I didn't know whether to say Lord or anything. I was just like in complete awe, shock, amazement, scared, just I didn't know what was gonna happen. I thought I was dying. I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
I think
man.
being, like you said, starting a journey, asking questions is what helped prepare me, or how I feel on the Father prepared me. Because I would always ask questions like, well, if Jesus was a Jew, why do we follow Christianity? Or, the Sabbath should be Saturday. These things that when you start to wake up from the norm, you start to ask. So that's important, I think, and a commonality as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Those questions are important, and we were kind of conditioned not to do that, right? Like nobody asks questions really, like within especially within like churches and stuff. And if you do, somebody does, you're not going to get the response you think you're going to get jaded, shaded, or something, right? And it's just crazy that people just go along with stuff, even if it don't sound right, and you'd be like, praise him, you know,
Right? People like, oh, don't question God, don't question God, don't do that. Yeah,
right?
so
That
true.
is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's very like when I think about it, I look back on like the traditions and I'm like, this sounds demonic. We talk about eating somebody blood and flesh and killing
Right.
them and making sacrifices. Like
Yep.
this doesn't sound like love. It sounds gross.
Yeah, and if you don't think, you'll just go with it. And I was telling Brother Clinton the other day. He kept saying they're not supposed to be in that book. They weren't supposed to be in it. I said, okay, Brother Clinton, I know, but just think about it. What about the ones that didn't know they weren't supposed to be in the book because we weren't told? Like we all, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be in it till I heard Yaju say it. I didn't even know we weren't supposed to open it. I didn't know about the five revelations. Nobody reads the
Yeah.
Bible most of the time. They let the pastor read it for them. They be like, don't tell it, pastor, tell it.
Right. And if I would have followed my gut instinct, my intuition, I would have never read the Bible either. It was just something about it to me. I was like, it wasn't, it was boring. It's just, I used to get this strong, like, feeling. I don't know if it's because they make you scared in church of God and consequences, or if I just, I don't know. It was always something about it that at first I was like, I didn't want to read it. But then once I got into it, you become addicted. You're like, oh, then I found out about the lost books and I started reading those. So it's like, it becomes an adventure to figure out, God. And then you lean to the understanding given by the Hebrew Israelites and yourself. You thinking that you in a totally different world than everybody else, which you are a cult. So, well, religions in general are different cults, but it's just it's different because the hate is real. Um, Hating against different sects of people. The one that I was in wasn't like that per se, It was open to everyone. We had all different cultures come in, but they were a little bit, I wouldn't say hateful towards others, but if you're not a part of the belief, it was once taught in a Sabbath class that you're not supposed to help them. So if you see a homeless person on the street and they're not, a Hebrew Israelite or a Jew or something, you can't help them. I'm like, what? Now
Mhm.
that made me feel like, okay, this isn't good. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's always that something. And see what it always ends up being is that part where you feel like that's not love. God is love, right? I'm like, nah.
right.
Just my auntie was Jehovah Witness, and they were like, a lady had a gambling problem, and she was found out, and so they made her sit in the back of the hall like for weeks, and no one could look at her, no one could talk to her. No, I was like, what's that about? I was like, something's not right with this at all whatsoever. So it's crazy how we had those all that stuff like kind of similar, different but very similar. Yeah. So how about your mom or anybody else in your family? Do they are they still in their belief, or have you been able to get them to let's hearken the voice?
Well, this message right now isn't for everybody. It's for the elect and the witnesses that are called to sound the alarm. But no, none of my family is like me. I'm a black sheep. They've been heavily indoctrinated, and if you wasn't chosen to receive this message at this time, then there's nothing you really do. I have some of my family who don't doubt it. They look at it, but they don't really truly receive it like you and me do. They just, oh, okay. Some of them and some of them are strongly opposed, which I understand. I was upset at first, but it's out of my control. The Father will do what the Father will do, and His God's will be done. So that's that.
Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, me too. But see the different with me. I'm gonna ask you, like, was it easy for you? Because I already knew I was a black sheep, and I already know my, just my relationship and how my thinking was way different than my family. So like I was hesitant and still am sometimes to talk about these things because I already know the treatment I would get, or just I just know, but I don't want to let that like stop me from even trying. Like, did you have that issue, or is there some people you still won't even say it to because you already know, or you test out the waters or the vibe or something?
I feel like it's a culmination or a combination of kind of three things. So is that what you said? I mean, I'm not scared of the crucifixion because I understand it has to be done. But it's like I've already said it, you guys already know, and then sometimes I'll just get boldness and I'll just come out and say things. Oh, you mean because I follow y'all Jew, and I just keep iterating that. And then there's also a combination of, at first it was more so fear for their salvation. I was like, I got to tell them, I gotta tell them. More so like trying to, convince them. And I had to grow out of that once I learned that that's not how you feed people. You have to give people information in a pace in which they can process it. And then there's the other, just like, um, well, I could tell this to this person, but, they're probably not going to even listen. You just already know, you know, they're just strongly opposed. So I've had a mixture of different things. But yeah, I've had people still to this day, like one of my parents actually didn't talk to me for almost a year. I didn't see him for like over a year. I've had one of my closest friends, like, she don't really talk to me anymore, or at all. I've had people that were not as close to me, but I associated with in the acting industry, just kind of like distance themselves from me. So I've had a lot of, like, separation. And I understand, someone thinks that you're going against what they know to be God. They don't want to be involved. And, you would think people would care about you to be like, okay, well, I don't agree with what you agree with, but I'm still going to, check on her. And no, they're just like
Right.
programmed. Like, oh no, you
That's
going to
crazy.
God? Well, good riddance to you. So they understand that I'm actually not going against God. They don't even know who God is. They just know religion and what they've been
Exactly.
taught.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. You still there, Alexis?
Yes, you
Okay, I
still
thought
can.
your voice went out kind of ended abruptly. I'm sorry. I was just
Oh,
listening to what you were saying. I was just like, man, oh man, just listening to you say that, it trips me out because if that's this Christianity thing and all these religions are supposed to be so God and so love, then how come it always turns out to be where you don't, where somebody's not think they don't think like you, then they're out, and that's like that should be a clear sign. Like I don't know, I don't understand that at all whatsoever. Why if you don't like for me, I have had friends that are atheists, friends that are believe in something else or just don't f with it at all, or whatever. But it never stopped me. Say I can't deal with you. I can't be. You know what I mean? Because everyone has. I just it just never affected me that way to where I had to dismiss somebody from my life. It's not like they came up to me and said, "So let me show you my blood sacrifices to Satan." It's not like they did. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think that it's depending on if you have an open mind. A lot of the individuals that I've had around me, especially in my close-knit circle, were highly devoted to what we knew was God. And I actually was known amongst most people as someone who was, I wouldn't say like a, well, some people have called me a prophetess, but someone that has some type of, strong discernment when it comes to God and, you know, very like, I guess, saint like. I've always been kind of observed as that or extremely innocent. So people to see me stray from what was um taught to us was like, whoa, she's going crazy. And I'm like, y'all, I'm just, renewing my mind. I've been in a cult and, I found out the truth and I'm healing and I want to share it with you all. And they're just not really receptive because their mind has it detached from the matrix, as you could say. Decepticons got them.
Whew, girl. And I'm just like really feeling this right now. Something about this talk right here just hit me different because it's so true. That it's like I've been trying to empathize, right? Because I was like, I know I've been there, I was there, but for some reason I wasn't heavily indoctrinated because we went earlier in our childhood, stopped, and then I picked it back up again in my adulthood when I had my sons, and then I just had been on it, following. I just always focused on it. Where God ever moved me, someone right, I'll just move along wherever you place me and go. Just kind of did floated like that, but sheesh, like you said, the renewing of their minds and stuff, and that's usually what it is. Because for me, I'm like, you were taught these things, so why wouldn't you? It's okay to question or like they're saying it, whether it's like kind of trying to point fingers at you, and they're saying this is what we've been taught. And exactly, who taught it to you? Was it God? No, no, it wasn't. But what about following him, connecting spiritually? If it's spirit, if he's spirit, right? Then we should be. It should be something more with our hearts, our bodies, our minds, and all of that, right? Not just like what I've been taught like a program.
Right. And there was something interesting that happened to me um, right around the time before I met Yaju. I had reached a point where I got tired of hearing about conspiracy theorists and um, the different rumors that are going on. Like the last one I heard was that Michelle Obama was a man. And I was like, okay, you know what? All of this stuff, it doesn't matter because I had got deep down the rabbit hole. And there were a few, even someone in my family that I guess would share information with me. But I was like, what good does that profit me? It's about what's in your heart.
Yeah.
So the circumcision of your heart, and I had a thought come to my mind that was like, be fruitful and multiply. So I'm like, I'm not about to be out here spreading all these scary conspiracy theories. It's just all about treating people how you want to be treated, and loving God and loving people, and that's it. All the other stuff, it's not going to profit you anything. So some
Girl,
people
I'm
have to
loving
get.
this, Alexis. I am loving what you were talking about right now. You hitting it. You're hitting it very much so. You even making me think of stuff like that had crossed my mind a little bit. And you're right. You're right. I was thinking about that too. Like even if this stuff, because I was on that rabbit hole too, Alexis. It get pretty deep and it can stress you the hell out. It could be true, it could not be true, but what's the purpose, right? Like you're saying that rumor about Michelle, if it's true or not, what it's really about her heart, right? And who she is, and what is good as it does for us to keep passing these on, like like there's no good, there's no point in it. What's going to be gained from that, right? and it's so true. I think we think that because they're celebrities and they're supposedly doing wrong, we can do that. But it's kind of like we're in the same boat. 'Cause now we're just out here passing around the rumors, and we could be sitting here speaking positivity or something towards their way, right? If they're doing things crazy. But I just that recently really started to ponder me a lot.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say it doesn't matter if she's a man or uh, cuz that would just be weird, but I'm saying like for me though, getting lost in that information is not going to profit me anything if my heart isn't right. If
Right.
my heart isn't pure, the circumcision of your heart, getting rid of um the grudges, getting rid of the pain, unforgiveness, treating people how you want to be treated regardless of how they treat you. Now I'm not trying to say put up with abuse or anything of that nature, but definitely separate yourself. But taking the higher road and showcasing love when you've been given hatred. I feel like these are things that are more important for me at that moment to focus on than whether or not somebody's a man or woman, which it does matter because it just proves
Yeah.
more so about their agenda, to
Yeah.
that's against life. They want to promote that homosexual agenda, but no, I just was wanting to focus more in that moment on love and spreading love and being loved and getting lost in other people's stuff. Like you said, these are people who don't even know them. They're people just like us. They got their own lives and
Exactly.
positivity on the situation if they do decide to do something crazy. Like, well, I hope they're, mentally well at some point and, you
Yeah.
know, something I don't know. But yeah, I think about that. I'm very conscious about not talking about people in general.
Yeah.
Specifically people I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know this person. I'm still gonna treat them like I want to be treated. I don't know Beyonce. I can't
Right.
tell her birthday. I can't tell you nothing about her except for what she's shown, and I'm not even that much of a fan. So I rather just if I'm not gonna talk about Beyonce, I'm not gonna talk about somebody that I don't know at all. So
Exactly. Right.
yeah,
Don't matter celebrity or not. Yeah. Yeah. And I know it doesn't matter like about if that was a man or not. I get that part, but I was just saying in general, like even I couldn't, you know what I mean? It'd be no point of me like just talking about it if I like, it's like
right,
what can I do? And if there was, you know what I mean? It's just like, well, I'm gonna talk about this stuff and it's not like if me telling you the Messiah is walking on earth. You know what I mean? It doesn't have
right.
that type of power. It's pointless, So
I feel
yeah,
you.
that's the one that I think it's okay now. No, that would be a problem. Oh dear, but yes, yes, I like that you talked about that. That's very important. Um, so I know we're going to get ready to wrap it up here soon. But Alexis, is there anything that you would like to let the listeners, the audience, know about the Messiah and what they should be aware, or what should they do when they hear the voice or when they listen to this? What step would you have them take afterwards?
I would say remember the scripture that says, "My sheep hear my voice," and that we are to hearken to the voice because men should not live off bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. And because the word of God is made flesh, you should be looking for Christ to be in the flesh. Rather you think is Yaju or not, you should be looking for someone in the flesh because the Bible is never written for us to be looking for someone up in the sky or to be listening to traditions of men. It actually is against that. God is real. So you should know that. And, you know, we're here to show you that God is real light. Christ is in the flesh. It's Yaju Judah. He's a man just like me and you, and he's been anointed by God. So he's a mediator. He doesn't know you personally, but the Father that's within him does. So don't look for him to be some type of guru that could tell you everything about you and heal all your problems. No, you're talking about the things that's within you because we all are capable to heal ourselves through food, through mental. We can do that, and then we can rely on the Father's you know mere instances where God just allows things to work through for us. But he's Christ is the title given to the Son of Man, and he's walking the earth today. And I hope that anything that I provided aids in your processing of this information. Sign a petition, for our reparations and to help build God's kingdom. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for that, Sister Alexis. Thank you so much. I don't know, but I'm just feeling like this strong energy from, like, I just feel a strong energy as we're talking, a very good one, powerful one. I don't know if you ever heard that or anybody said that to you before, but I'm definitely feeling something here. I want to thank you again for coming on and talking about, some of what your experience, your journey, and then what you know of now. And you're welcome back anytime. So I guess we're going to end it with like a 2-minute clip or maybe less of Yaju. And until next time, everybody, this is Randy J and Sister Alexis Sade. Peace out. Okay, I'm going to run this clip.
Now, here's a few, prophecies being fulfilled. They was going to crucify Christ and take his garments and cast lots. Now, when you take Christ's garments, you take his information. You don't take the devil's information because that's the lie. You take the truth and you distort it. That's what the devil does. Now, one thing about God, God does not run. The devil hides. God will be in the open to let everyone see. So when you see these brothers, on these social media streets, tell them come holler at the one that's talking to everyone in the opening. Because the truth is as bold as a lion. Now one thing about the devil, you weren't going to take his garments and cast lots. You weren't going to stab him in the back. You were going to stab Christ in the back. Now Christ ain't stabbed nobody in the back. But I got proof. Now God is also not the author of confusion. I had one message since I started. Why has their message changed?
Ooh, that part. All right. Well, thank you, Alexis, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.